This is the Tennis Warehouse racket review of the Dunlop CX 400 Tour. Dunlop makes some impactful changes with the new CX 400 Tour. This 2024 version features a new mold with a retooled beam for enhanced stability and feel. The racket also receives some technology updates, including Powergrid Stringtech Plus, which can be seen with wider cross-string spacing for increased spin and power, along with Vibroshield material in the hoop and shaft for a more comfortable feel. All in all, a great feeling, spin-friendly modern player's racket, perfect for intermediate to advanced level players. Before heading down for the first time to play test this CX 400 Tour, I took a peek at the specs and I found them to be pretty similar to my favorite racket in the Dunlop lineup, which is the FX 500, so I was interested to see how these would compare and what would be different. Now, after a couple hours of hitting, what I found out was that the FX 500 offers a little bit more power, easy power, while this one offers a little bit more precision and a stable feel. As far as feel, I actually thought that there felt like to be a little bit more weight in the tip of this racket compared to the FX 500. Now on the baseline for me, I thought this was a really easy racket to use. I was able to get a groove right away, and I was actually really impressed with the spin potential. I was hitting one of my favorite shots to hit, which is that shorter angled ground stroke to pull my opponent off the court with ease, and I thought overall the racket did really well from the baseline. When I approached the net, the main thing I noticed was that it was a pretty comfortable feel for me and it felt really stable in hand, so I was able to execute my volleys with ease. Like with most rackets, I preferred to return over serve with this racket. For me, I really liked it on first serves. I found I could get some good pace, I could mix it up and hit some slice. But I did get a little bit tired after hitting this over and over, and I noticed that to affect my second serve as I was throwing in a couple more double faults than normal, as I wasn't able to really get the ball to dip in the court. Now with my return, kind of the opposite, I love that stable feel, and so I was able to step in and really redirect the serve and hit some aggressive returns. Overall, I still prefer the FX 500 for its easy power, but I think players that are looking for a little bit better balance of control and power in a still easy to use racket should check out this CX 400 Tour.
I found this racket to be pretty maneuverable and easy to use, especially considering this is a tour level racket. From the baseline, I found the open string pattern to give me really easy access to spin and easy depth. I found like on the run, I was able to kind of flick my wrist and hit passing shots pretty easily with this racket. Power level, I was surprised about. I was expecting a little bit more power than I was getting, but maybe that's just because of how low the swing weight is. Up at net, when I was making contact in the sweet spot, I really liked it. It felt plush, and I felt like the racket was really pocketing the ball well. But outside of it, any shots really outside of it, I was having a little bit of torsional stability issues. On serve, I also, again, really liked it for the amount of spin I was able to get on my serves. So overall, I thought this was another really solid racket from Dunlop. Spec-wise, I think it's very similar to the Head Speed MP racket, but in a more maneuverable package.
I was on the playtest for the previous CX 400 Tour, so going into this playtest, I knew what to expect a little bit, and I felt really comfortable right away from the baseline with this CX 400 Tour update. With the previous one, I had to adjust. I really prefer to play with rackets that have a little bit more of a headlight balance like you would find in like the CX 200. But however, this time around I knew what to expect, so I felt comfortable swinging this one right away. And if you ask me kind of where it fell in terms of power, someone had asked me that, and I said, you know, I think of it as the pure drive of the CX line. Now take that with a grain of salt, because the CX line does actually focus more on control. So this is not going to offer that kind of free power like the FX line would. However, I thought it was more easy to generate that power off the baseline compared to the CX 200, which I also play tested. So I appreciated that. At net, I loved the stability I was getting. That extra weight up there in the head was offering good stability at net. Last time around, I think I said the CX 200 was my favorite. This time around, I think the CX 400 Tour is the favorite of the 2024 line, just because of its easier depth off the baseline.
This was a super easy racket to use. I got lots of free power from the baseline, and it's really whippy racket as well, so I had fun injecting pace at will. I just felt like right at the last second I could increase my racket head speed a little bit, get little bit more spin and pace on the ball, and give my opponents something different to look at and kind of surprise them a little bit with a bit more hop on my groundies. Had fun really trying to knife my slice backhand as aggressively as I could. Every once in a while the ball would squirt long when I did that, but most of the time I was getting enough spin and enough control to really hit a nice dirty slice. So it was a fun racket to use in that regard. Up and net, beautiful plush feel. Could do with a little bit of weight to it, I think, just to beef it up when you're against a hard hitting player. But in stock form, it's a very easy racket to get around, and if you like to cut under the volley and add a little bit of slice and junk on the ball, this is a great one to do it with. And then that translated onto serves as well, where I could really, again, inject pace, get good spin, felt like I was serving really well with it. I would likely customize this one, leather grip, a little bit of weight in the head, but in stock form, it's light, it's fast, and it's very comfortable.
We strung up the Dunlop CX 400 Tour with Dunlop Explosive Red at around 53 pounds. For more information on this racket or any others, please check us out at Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.